In southern India, resting atop a remote, ancient rocky hill, sits a structure that has watched over the landscape for over 1,000 years. This is the Gomateshwara statue, standing 57 feet tall. It is a monolith carved entirely from a single, massive piece of granite. Look closely, and a few details stand out. He stands perfectly still and completely unclothed, with thick, heavy vines wrapping around his legs and arms. It leads to a mystery that has lasted for centuries. Why carve a figure of this immense scale only to show him exposed, tangled in the forest, and frozen in time? The answer lies in an ancient story about two royal brothers, Bahubali and Bharata. The two princes were locked in a bitter, destructive war, fighting to see who would rule the empire. The conflict reached its peak in a final duel. Bahubali overpowered his brother, struck the winning blow, and secured total control over the kingdom. But at the moment of his triumph, something shifted. Bahubali realized his victory felt hollow. Recognizing his ambition was driven by a destructive ego, he made a radical choice. He walked away from his crown, left his wealth behind, and retreated into the forest. He entered a state of deep meditation, standing perfectly still for months. The forest grew up around him, wrapping his legs in thick, creeping vines. This monolith stands as a tribute to the moment a conqueror chose absolute peace over his own authority. To honor that choice, a massive festival is held, known as Mahamastakabhisheka. The name breaks down into three parts: Maha, meaning great, Mastaka, meaning head, and Abhisheka, meaning bathing. Because of the massive effort involved, this event only happens once every 12 years. When that 12th year arrives, thousands of devotees travel to make the steep climb up the exposed stone surface of the hill. Once they reach the top, they face a practical problem. It is incredibly difficult to pour ceremonial liquids over the head of a statue that stands 5 stories tall. The solution is a feat of temporary engineering. Workers construct a colossal, multi-tiered scaffolding structure directly behind and around the ancient stone. This structure brings people right up to the head of the statue, turning the quiet giant into the center of one of the world's largest acts of collective devotion. As the ceremony begins, priests take their places on the highest levels of the scaffolding, holding hundreds of ritual vessels. The first stage involves pouring hundreds of pots of purified water and fresh milk over the statue's head to symbolize spiritual purity. The dark gray stone is soon covered by a flowing layer of stark white milk, transforming the look of the giant almost instantly. Next comes sweet sugarcane juice and herbal pastes, each bringing a new texture and a new layer of meaning. The pouring builds to a peak when the priests release massive quantities of bright golden turmeric and deep red sandalwood paste. These powders mix with the flowing liquids, staining the giant in vivid, striking shades of yellow and crimson. The sequence brings the cold stone to life, turning the monument into a vibrant, colorful spectacle. While the action happens far above, the courtyards below are packed tightly with thousands of devotees, watching the colors cascade down. The ritual concludes as a massive shower of flower petals rains down from the sky, representing nature's approval of Bahubali's peace. For the people gathered there, washing the statue reflects a personal goal. By witnessing the stone being cleansed, they're reminded to clear away their own anger and pride. The 12-year cycle suggests that mastering one's own ego is the most significant triumph a person can achieve. It is a message that has remained vital for a millennium. When the clock resets and the giant next awakes in color, the crowd will be waiting once again.